Welcome to the San Antonio. Yeah, that kind of broke. FC FanCast. Wow. I'm just now getting my voice back. There's no need to completely kill myself.
I would have done it. I would have done it and saved your voice.
Sure.
Instead of Royce, no voice. We have Royce with a half a voice.
It's there.
Not anymore.
It's there. Shut up. Shut up. It's there. Anyway, I'm your host, Royce. How are you all tonight? I'm joined by almost everybody. First off, Harry. Harry, how are you?
I'm doing well. Cowboys are eliminated. The SEC is overrated, as we saw. Life is good.
Okay. Rafa, how are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Man of many words. Matthew, how are you?
Chilling. Just chilling.
Dynamite drop in as well. JC, Jonathan, how are you?
Doing all right. Holidays coming up. Christmas, New Year's. Maybe if you celebrate them, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. Just enjoy the season, everyone. Good to see family in the next week or two.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sounds great. And we're in the midst of a fun off season, and there has been surprisingly a lot happening this off season. Normally, all USO clubs are pretty radio silent through the holidays. First couple weeks of January, they're pretty radio silent, and then stuff starts gearing up halfway through January. And that's about where Harry starts losing his crap because SAFC hasn't done anything. And then February starts rolling around, and it's a signing or two every week. But we're getting a lot of movement going on already. Harry, what else? What other crazy stuff has happened so far this very unprecedented offseason?
Well, I think we had scheduled for, because we had teased the SAFC Best 11, but U.S. Soccer decided to release everybody's schedules on Friday, right? That was Friday the 18th. Yeah, the 18th.
Or Thursday, I think.
Or Thursday.
It was Thursday. Yeah.
Late in the week that everybody said, hey, let's just dump schedules. So MLS, USL Championship, USL League One, NISA, there's reports that they're not being sanctioned by U.S. Soccer. That all happened. And then there was a player announcement as well from SanAntonio FC this week. So the show on the Best 11 got moved to sometime in January after the holidays. So we haven't set on a date yet for that here, but we'll get that set up and through there. But you want to go into the first move?
Sure. So we've had returning players be announced.
Before I do that,
go ahead.
Us four have talked about the coaching move. You, unfortunately, were dealing with some Royce no voice issues. Your thoughts on the coaching hire before we move in, just to give you the ability to kind of express your thoughts on the appointment of Carlos Llamosa.
Carlos Llamosa. I don't want to say he was completely unheard of. I'm sure in the U.S. soccer circles, and especially if you're a fan of the U.S. men's national team, you've kind of heard the name a little bit. He was a part of the most successful U.S. men's World Cup team so far. That was 2002 in South Korea, where they made it to the quarterfinals. Quarterfinals or semifinals? It was quarterfinals, right? Anyway, he's one of those characters that's been in U.S. soccer for his entire life, and it'll be interesting to see what he has. We had Darren Powell, who kind of grew up in the English system and came over here through the university system as our first coach, and then Marcina, who's kind of dare I say, legendary lower league U.S. soccer coach with his exploits in NASL, as well as
USL League 2.
what is it, League Two? Where Des Moines was at? I was trying to think of
Yeah.
what league Des Moines was
Well,
in.
at the time it was PDL.
Exactly. There you go. PDL. Thank you.
But PDL
That's
is now
the one.
USL League 2.
That's fair. That PDL, that's the one I was thinking of. And then obviously with SanAntonio and USL. So it was interesting what the choices were. We figured who Sac Republic ended up hiring would be high on the list, which was Neil Collins, but apparently there was a buyout clause from his club, so that may not have been desirable for SAFC. We were wondering about Mark Briggs, which still no news on where he's going or has gone. Obviously, there's only one coaching slot left in USL, and that's New Mexico. So we'll see if that kind of seems like a pretty obvious choice, but we'll see what happens there. So yeah, I mean, sure. But it was always going to be interesting to see, who you would SanAntonio FC hired. Carlos Llamosa, has a great resume on paper. He's never had a head coaching job, which is interesting, but at the same rate, he seems like one of those guys who has the pedigree. He's always been an assistant, and now he's going to test himself as a first team coach. He's also the first Latino coach in SanAntonio FC history. So that's always cool. He has Colombian ancestry. So it's exciting. Portland Timbers always played a respectable game. That was kind of they were always the definition of a team that was better than the sum of its parts. So hopefully he can continue that formula and bring it to SanAntonio FC.
So moving on to the first signing, which is, well, we only had one, I guess, not first. Nicki Hernandez. Jonathan, do you want to go into the details of that SAFC released about Nicki Hernandez returning to SAFC?
Sure. I mean, I can pull up the release in front of me at a moment's notice here, but for anyone who's followed,
I can read the article here if you want. Just I know you're the media guy.
Yeah. Well, I also, I'll be honest, I didn't exactly read it devoutly, partially because I already knew it was going to be, at least was in the works. When I went to the press conference earlier in the week about Carlos Llamosa being signing, I spoke with someone at SAFC and they kind of mentioned that this was sort of the most concrete thing. And they said, it's not 100%, maybe some paperwork was messed up, but expect this later in the week. And lo and behold, it happened. I gave a little teaser about that on Thursday. I think people it flew under the radar a bit. I said, hey, this has been an eventful week for SAFC. And then I added on to that in a separate tweet, and it might not be over, hint, hint. But two people liked that. I don't know if that really caught on. But anyway, so for anyone who's followed SAFC for more than just the last couple of years, this is a familiar name. It's a returning player, but not someone who was with SAFC last year or the year before. But Nicki Hernandez, he was loaned from FC Dallas to SAFC in the title-winning season in 2022, and had, maybe not the largest role back then, but there's no shame in being sort of a squad player and, just kind of someone a little lower down on the depth chart in an exceptional team like that, a team that did so well. But anyway, happy to welcome Nicki Hernandez. Says Marco Ferruzzi, key part of our team during the championship season, obviously, and continued to develop his game and bring success to the clubs he's been a part of. Since SAFC, it's been just New Mexico United for a year and a half. And that's something that I'm curious to see is sort of, now that he's had another year and a half under his belt after leaving FC Dallas and obviously leaving SAFC's loan agreement, is how much he's developed, how much maybe he's changed. I know we were having a debate earlier of what kind of position is he going to play, because depending on where you look, depending who you ask, he's more of a defensive midfielder or more of an attacking midfielder. It's really sort of up in the air. After that, it just kind of goes into his stats from New Mexico, North Texas. Something I was telling you guys about really before we came on was how in 2022 was kind of his most. He played a decent amount of minutes for SAFC, 25 appearances, and he got 2 goals, 5 assists in a little over 1,000 minutes. He joined New Mexico about midway through 23, still got 17 appearances, so that's most matches in the second half of the season. Got 4 goals and 2 assists there. That's his most prolific season in terms of goal scoring. And that was in about 800 minutes. And then last year, still 36 appearances, but then only 2 goals, 1 assist in about 1,400 minutes. So that's kind of where you maybe start to think, okay, is he taking on more of a defensive role now? Is that how SAFC is going to use him? Really, we have no idea where exactly he might play until we see maybe what kind of other players SAFC signs, but particularly what system Carlos Llamosa is going to have, where, what kind of roles are going to fit into that system. So we just don't know. I'm sure you guys will be happy to speculate for the next month or two, but take everything
month
with a
or
grain of
two
salt.
tonight. We're gonna do it tonight, man.
Oh, but I'm saying you'll continue to do it for the next month or two.
Right.
Okay,
We're gonna
add this player. Now let's change everything up on the board here.
And let's be honest, we're gonna continue this through the first month or two of the season. So don't even think that the beginning of the season's gonna end the speculating. But yeah, I mean, pretty much what Jonathan said. It really does seem like he's becoming a more complete midfielder.
Mhm.
He's not just going forward. He's not just becoming that attacking 8. It really seems like he's really embodying that. With New Mexico last year, he was embodying that hybrid role and doing a better job defensively. So, which is something we needed, right? That was, of a pretty weakly constructed team, that was one of the weaker aspects of the 2024 San Antonio FC squad was the midfield. So to get a guy that already has chemistry with some of the core players, known to the fans, as well as was playing on arguably the best team in the regular season last season, I think that kind of ticks all the boxes for an acquisition that San Antonio FC was looking to make, and they made it happen.
Your thoughts, Matt?
Sorry, I was chewing candy and it got into me. Yeah, it's a great.
It's always something, man. Always something with
candy.
you.
It was freaking, dude. I didn't think these blow tops would.
How old are you?
Old enough. Anyways,
What, adults can't have candy?
Nicki Hernandez was a shocker. I mean, we were talking about having comeback players, and I knew SAFC hinted about it also, but I mean, hey, why not bring back someone who was part of the championship team? So it was really good to see him. To see how they utilize him with Hernandez in the middle or up top.
And Rafa, what are your thoughts on the Nicki Hernandez signing?
Just, I guess you can say the biggest issue we had last year was the midfield. So it's just added depth to the midfield, and especially since he can play the attacking and also the holding mid. So if there is an injury, and that was the problem last year, our holding mid was kind of one of the big issues, especially when Abu decided to retire, then Omar being hurt pretty much the entire season. We had a big void there. So, like I said, he brings experience. He brings, like I said, he can do a lot of things, depending on the formation. If we play a 4-2-3-1, if we have a dual, deep holding mids, or if we go to a 4-3-3, we can have 2 attacking mids. It's going to help out in the end. Like I said, I'm sure he did some good things there in New Mexico, and then hopefully that momentum moves over here to our, to SAFC, and hopefully he can kind of finish out. Because if you remember that championship season, he didn't get to play in the finals because he was hurt. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's some unfinished business, and maybe hopefully out of this, he can kind of, I'm not saying redeem himself, but kind of be able to really contribute even more than when we couldn't do it towards the end of 2022.
And I'm also going to just really quickly add on. We're talking a lot about, where might he play? What's he been doing on the field? But from what I understand, and this is not really something that even I, from my media perspective, would get to see, but he's apparently a really big guy, really important guy in the locker room. I guess just kind of good for the team's harmony, the team's vibes. So that's something that could be important because regardless of, I think we saw last year, we were saying, oh, these are so many great players on paper, but if things behind the scenes, if things in the locker room don't quite click, it doesn't matter. So really important to have someone there who can get you that harmony behind the scenes in the locker room.
Well, I forget which one of you, or if it was Robert or it might have been Rafa that pointed to, and this is not a rumor, this is not speculation of person X coming back, but Jasser Kamiri liked on Instagram or put a post out on Nicki Hernandez. So that kind of gives credence to it. And I know it was Aquero put the on social media, highlighted that Mitch called out Hernandez's goal, in one of the important goals that he had, late in the game for that here. But to me, just kind of looking at his player traits, according to FOTMob, 97% on defensive actions, aerial duels, 87%, doesn't create a lot of chances, 68% on touches, 11% on shot attempts, and goals at 21%. To me, I know New Mexico had him playing back, and they had him kind of as an attacking mid. But if you really look at most of his shots were outside the box, which is where he scored for us. And to me, and I know it's probably going to be a different setup, but to me, I could see him being kind of that Kevin Lambert that goes up and down this year for San Antonio FC. For here is depending on the makeup here, but to me, I'm looking forward to Nicki. I will say he was here 22. He missed the first half of the season of 2023, and that was always kind of one of those questions of why didn't San Antonio FC bring him back. We'll probably never know for that here, but I'm glad he's home. He's a quality player. He has a little dance talking to Somos Mas. They're like, suck to see him leave, but it'll be good to see if we can see some more of the Nicki Hernandez dance for that here. Any thoughts on where you see him in the lineup? Depending on if it's going to be a 4-3-3 or was it a 4-2-3-1? Any thoughts where he would fit?
Nicki Hernandez has always been a per average hitter, so I see him being kind of in that 2 spot, right behind a good leadoff hitter, just kind of setting the plate, get on base for whoever bets clean up. He's not a power hitter, so what do you mean setting up in the? What do you mean setting up in the lineup? Absolutely. Oh, he gets on base. I mean, what are we talking about? That's Billy Bean. What do you mean in the lineup? He's going to be in the midfield, and who knows what Carlos Llamosa is going to run? It's not worth speculating right now. Are we going to do it? Absolutely, but we're not going to do it right now because we have schedules to talk, sir. We have extended this conversation way too long. Get to the schedule.
I think more likely, I think Llamosa is going to have open competition in that spot. I think that's because he is new.
Absolutely.
Best for him.
Since Royce wants to just, go to schedule. Go ahead, Royce. Talk about the schedule. Screw the actual team, but hey, let's talk about the schedule.
It's a great schedule. It's the best schedule ever. People are saying it's the most perfect schedule.
You're gonna get banned.
Tough. Anyway, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. It's setting up quite. I mean, there's a lot of little spots in the schedule that are going to be troublesome, but it kind of seems more or less and kind of evenly spread out. There's no real gauntlet, if you will. There's 3 kind of tough stretches, but there's no, we've had in the past 4 or 5 straight away games. I remember one season where they played at the end of April near Fiesta. It may have been the Fiesta game. And then SAFC didn't come back till the middle of June. So, Jonathan, what are you doing, dude? You were so close to the camera, man. Sorry for those in podcast land, but Jonathan's I've never seen the pores on your nose like that. Anyway, continue with the schedule. Now I can see. Yep, you need to blow your nose, dude. Anyway,
Can we go back to Nicki Hernandez?
no. Anyway, it's schedule talk time. So the kind of the big things that's different from this year as compared to past years with the schedule. There are 2 new teams coming to SAFC that we will play. One of the bigger league alignment happenings is that Memphis is skipping a year and they're moving out to California. Plus, kind of to replace them, a team coming up from League One, Lexington, is going to be in the West. So they're going to be in our division as well. So that'll be very interesting. And then at the same rate, during the Jägermeister Cup, which is another twist on this season that y'all went over in the last show I was listening to, we will play Omaha at home, who is in League One. So that'll be very interesting to go through that. But those are kind of the 2 new folds that we have. We still have 2 divisions. We don't have 3 conferences yet. Which is kind of a rumored thing whenever the expansion happens before the 2026 season. And we'll see what happens there. But this season, that's kind of it. Those 2 new games, you got the Jägermeister Cup, and then there's 3 pretty difficult stretches of games. I will start, and I think, Harry, tell me if you disagree, the first 2 months, pretty nice little ramp up 2 months into the season for SAFC. How do you feel about that, Harry?
Well, here's where I'm going to counter with you. SAFC has to get off to a good start. Period. You can't. You've got more home games than away games. You look at the teams, should be able to win, even on the road at Lexington, at Oakland, should be able to win there. To me, getting off to a good start, number one, is going to help rebuild the relationship with the fans, because I believe a certain media person that's on this podcast said winning helps with any of the off-field drama stuff. So coming back and getting some wins and putting some points up on the board, showing, hey, last year was a fluke, is extremely important. Number 2, the end of the schedule, a lot of it's on the road. And my biggest point thing here, El Paso's not on a Wednesday for either match.
Which is surprising, right? Because that's been one of the bigger complaints. Yeah, that's been one of the bigger complaints since kind of Copatejas started, is just about every single El Paso match away has been on a Wednesday. There was that odd Tuesday match we had a few years ago, but it's mostly been on Wednesday. And this year at home, it'll be on a Saturday, and the away on the 4th of July will be on a Friday. So that is good to see. And hopefully we can get a pretty decent contingency to drive to East New Mexico to El Paso and go watch that game and support our boys.
And I'm going to say this, as supporters, and this goes for both El Paso and San Antonio, we both have been crying about, hey, let's get it on a weekend or where fans can travel. Well, the league listened, El Paso listened, San Antonio listened. Both fans need to travel and show up. We need to make this, if we're going to make this a proper derby, we need to show up and support San Antonio away in El Paso. It's, I know it's 4th of July. I've already told my wife, hey, we're going to El Paso for that weekend. The kid's birthday is the 7th and mine's the 8th. So we'll make it my birthday trip.
And she responded, why?
She's like, it's the kid's birthday. So I was like, all right, it doesn't matter.
just building off of that really quickly, yeah, there can be no complaints this year about the timing. No Wednesdays. I mean, a July 4th match, that's going to be big. Regardless of traveling fans, you're going to have a lot of people at that match. And it's on a Friday for what it's worth. So July 4th on a Friday, and then, that makes it a long weekend. I'm sure that would be a great way for a lot of people to start it. Maybe not so much for whichever team loses, unless it ends in a draw, but an exciting start to that weekend. And then we didn't point it out, but the return match in San Antonio is the season finale.
Mhm.
So it's kind of nice, because if you guys remember, this past season was the first time that SAFC went into its last match with no potential playoffs, none of that. So it kind of put a damper on things. So it's nice that this time there will, no matter what, be significance, whether SAFC is first and El Paso is second, or whether they're both eliminated from the playoffs again, who knows? And also, for what it's worth, SAFC maybe will finally be able to claim Copatejas in front of its home fans instead of having to do it in El Paso like in 2022, or in RGV instead of 2020 or in 2023. That was not a luxury SAFC had either of the last 2 years. And we know from the way it transpired this past year that with just 2 teams involved, it will definitely go down to that second match.
The other big thing here, and this is with the Jägermeister Cup, the one miss is no Texoma, the other Texas team in League One. The other thing that stands out as far as this, which we didn't really point out, Colorado Springs champion, San Antonio champion, Phoenix champion, New Mexico is first place team. So our group is loaded when it comes to quality teams for the Jägermeister Cup. I think we haven't lost to Colorado Springs in 13 attempts, I believe is what was mentioned on the SAFC schedule release thing there for that here. So should be interesting. Rafa, your thoughts, Matt, your thoughts on the schedule?
Good schedule. The only downer is that Wednesday, April 23rd game. I don't know why we're playing on a Wednesday there against Colorado. Should have been on my birthday on the 19th. That would have been much sweeter. Give Colorado their 14th straight loss against us. But overall, like I said, I think we do need to start off on the right foot. It's a favorable start, but that also going to depend who we bring in. We can't bring in players like we did last year. Wait to the last minute, just get a bunch of scraps. The one thing they're gonna have to be aggressive. They're gonna have to find guys, especially on number 9, that's gonna put balls in the goal. That's the key. If we can get him going, or one or two of them going, like I said, those tough stretches that we can steal some points in June and in August, and especially that roundup on October, we just want to make sure that we're at a striking range as far as with the playoffs, but also I think the main thing is be able to host a first round game and maybe even a second round game. So it's a good schedule. The only down is like not having Texoma. I think that would have made more sense than playing Omaha, but it is what it is, and it's going to be great going to El Paso. I think the last time we were there, me and Harry went. We ruined their party. We had fun ruining their party, and we got to win. And we can throw some Chico's tacos at their face and all that, and enjoy.
And I will say, for the trip to El Paso, it is probably, you got the hotel walking distance, you got the pregame pub walking distance, and then the stadium's walking distance, all within 10-15 minute walk, I think, reasonably.
Yeah.
And like I said here, Sirius Loco, and Eighth Notch, all great people pre and post game for the most part. So it would be an awesome thing, especially 4th of July, to be able to go and let's face it, El Paso and San Antonio FC were both probably one of the most disappointing teams last year if you ask both fan bases. Matt, your thoughts on the three game road trips, and we only have one 3-game homestand. But your thoughts on in June from the 14th to the 25th, 3-game road trip. Although one in June is a Jägermeister Cup at Colorado Springs, the one in August at Orange County, and then a quick trip up the coast to Monterey Bay, and then cross to the Great Lakes in Detroit. And then October at Colorado Springs, where it could be cold and chilly. At Tulsa, it's on a Saturday as opposed to a normal midweek game with Tulsa. And then at Phoenix, where it's not 150 degrees for that here. So your thoughts on the three-game road trips?
I mean, they seem very reasonable. Just depends on, I guess, how you really want to look at it. Because, I mean, they're very, like, I guess, close to each other, but at the same time, they're not. So
I was going to say, yeah, Monterey Bay is nowhere near Detroit. So,
but Orange County up to Monterey Bay is.
No. But I mean, like, the time frame of how long we're going to be away. It's just one of those things. Everything's in the beginning or towards the end. But they're going to be hopefully good road trips that we do. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, from the three, like I said, the three little gauntlet areas that we have, they are little 3-game stretches away. So that's not terrible. Just considering that in past years, especially, man, what was it? It was the 2021 season because it was right after the pandemic.
Well, we had one this year.
Well, hold on. There's a point to this.
Okay.
Before that season, whenever we got the initial schedule, that's when I said the gauntlet's going to be that stretch in August. All of August, SAFC was away. There were 6 or 7 straight games SAFC was away. And I said that's going to be what determines if we, how we do in this season. It may have been 2022, honestly. And right before the first game of that road trip, the entire squad couldn't play the first game because they all got COVID, or a number of the players got COVID, which, made them have to cancel the beginning of the road trip. So that kind of got off to an inauspicious start. And then they won, I think they won 5 of the 6 or 6 of the 7. And that's really what turned their season around. They made the playoffs. They made a nice run, and they almost won the whole damn thing. Like I said, that was either 2021. They may have won the whole thing in 2022. I don't think it was that year. I think it was 2021, but we don't have that crazy stretch. It's 3-game away trips. It's not going to be the easiest games, but they're at least spread out this time. Because like I said, past years, and like you said, this past season as well, there have been long stretches of away games where SAFC they haven't played a home game in Toyota Field for a month or two. We have seen that, and that's not going to happen this year, which is good to see. But what does stink, obviously, as we continue, if we want to bring up the schedule again, what does stink, obviously, we're not going to get a 4th of July game for Fiesta. We do have a game during Fiesta, but like you said, it's on a Wednesday, which sucks. It's not on a Saturday, so that does stink. Other than that, we're not there. What are the other holidays that you normally celebrate? May the 4th, May the 5th, Cinco de Mayo.
We have 2.
Cinco de Mayo game. What do you mean?
There's 2 in Fiesta. Doesn't it start earlier in the 12th?
Does it? I thought it was late.
It does.
Let me do some quick research. I thought it was the end. Hold on. Yeah.
So while you're talking about that, let me kind of throw a little wild card in on here. So the group stage of the Jägermeister Cup goes April 26th to July 26th, which we've seen. So it'll be again 3 weeks later. So you're talking about end of August, right? For that here, and then the Jägermeister Cup will conclude the weekend of October 11th. So if you're going 26th, 1 second here. Where's the schedule here? So if you're going here where this is the final, you figure it's going to start 3 weeks later. So you're talking about August 23rd, September, or August 30th time frame for that, which is in between 2 road trips, depending on how the draw goes. But to me, and this is where I kind of question how they're going to do this, is if they're doing the final on October 11th, and it says the weekend of October 11th, what are they going to, I'm hoping SAFC makes it. If they do, how will they reschedule this match with Tulsa in the final 2 weeks?
Most likely move it forward, I would think. I mean, if you can try and squeeze it in, I don't know when the previous round prior to that would be, but you might say, okay, in a week and a half, or maybe 2-3 weeks, we both have an open space here on a Wednesday. Let's get it out of the way then. Or if they want, they could try and do it at the end of the season, stick it in a Wednesday or something there. But I mean, there would be at least a few weeks, maybe a month or so, to figure out, okay, we need to reschedule this game. What works for you? And
it just says we'll begin 3 weeks later. After that is for the single, which will begin 3 weeks later. And you figure, so there's 8 teams, right? So 8, 4, and 2. So 8, 4, and 2. So there'll be 3 matches in that period from that here. But to me, when you look at SAFC's schedule, and obviously we all want SAFC to do well in all competitions. August there's already 6 matches. Could possibly be adding a 7th match to that, unless they push it, to the first part of September. But to me, that's going to be the interesting aspect, is how they schedule the Jägermeister Cups. And I don't think anybody realizes this, that there'll be there'll be 2 games that have to be rescheduled. If the championship's going to be on August 11th, because I believe that's a full schedule on that here. Hold on, let me check. October.
So while you're checking that, Fiesta this year,
plays,
Fiesta this year starts on April 24th. So that April 23rd game will be the day before Fiesta. So they may parlay that into Fiesta as like a kickoff, like an unofficial Fiesta kickoff. But officially, SAFC does not have a home game during Fiesta again this year.
That's a good thing.
But to me, that's something, just kind of looking at that. So to me, travel plans, places that I would like to go. One thing that we didn't mention, SAFC opens 2 stadiums, the Oakland Coliseum, and I know it's not a brand new stadium, but for the Roots, it is. And then a month later, May 3rd, at Tidewater against the Eastern Conference defending champions Rhode Island. For me personally, I would love to be able to make that trip, although I have a feeling getting tickets to that it's gonna be challenging.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough
for that here. But as I was taunting Oakland and Rhode Island fans, SAFC knows how to break in new buildings. Just ask RGV and HEB Park.
Absolutely. At the same rate, what's not on the schedule that we do know is that SAFC, according to press releases, will play 2 friendly matches this season that'll fit somewhere. We assume one of them is going to be on July 19th on that open Saturday there in July. It's a pretty good bet. The other one, we're not sure. We've heard it may end up being a preseason match. We're just not sure how this is going to work out, but they are going to play Las Palmas, who play in La Liga, who actually beat Barcelona earlier this season, which is interesting. And then they're also going to play Darmstadt. Darmstadt is in the Zwei Bundesliga, which is the 2nd division of the German football league. and both, Las Palmas is in the Canary Islands. The Canary Islands have a very intimate history with the city of San Antonio. A lot of the first original settlers of San Antonio were Canary Islanders. So we'll always have that ancestry in common. I don't know how you want to say that. That history in common. And Darmstadt is one of many sister cities that San Antonio has and shares. And there's, it's known as kind of the cybersecurity capital of Germany. And San Antonio has Intelligence Hill, which is one of the U.S. government's largest complexes for cybersecurity here at Joint Base San Antonio, as well as UTSA is one of the preeminent cybersecurity universities in the U.S. So we have that in common with Darmstadt. So that'll be exciting to see both of those clubs come through. But like we said, we don't have those schedules yet. Not even sure they've been completely confirmed, but we're pretty sure one of those friendlies will be on the 19th of July.
And one final thing on the schedule compared to last year to this year, it's an unbalanced schedule. San Antonio does not play Lou City, which is big. Indy 11, North Carolina, or Hartford. We do not play those four teams for that, but not happen to face Lou City, North Carolina, and Indy, who were all playoff teams last year. It'll be interesting to see if that makes a difference in the final standings. I know New Mexico misses Birmingham, Indy, Tampa Bay, and Loudoun. So it'll be interesting to see how that unbalanced schedule works with the Jägermeister Cup. Those, not playing four Eastern teams for the Jägermeister Cup, how that impacts things.
And another thing that we have not mentioned yet is we're also going to be participating in the U.S. Open Cup this year. So we may embark on the dreaded fixture congestion issue. So we'll see how that goes. USL Championship may need expanded squads. We may need to actually play all 25 of the players we sign instead of having a signing release and then never seeing them again. Shout out to you. I don't know. There's many players that we saw. Oh yeah, they got signed and then never heard from them again. So we'll see how that goes.
Do you think Amosa will take this seriously as far as the U.S. Open Cup compared to Marcina?
To be seen. Couldn't tell you. We could do part of the interruption argument over it if you want to, but we don't know, and we're gonna find out.
But there's one. I'm for the Dortmund game. I wouldn't be surprised at being
Darmstadt.
My bad.
Not
I was
Dortmund.
like, when's Dortmund coming?
Different cities.
That's the first German team that popped in my head. Anyway.
Different cities, different teams.
Reyna's coming to San Antonio. You heard it here first.
No, he'll be injured.
Oh,
Jonathan.
I'm not wrong.
Bite your tongue. Bite your tongue.
I'm not wrong.
But there was from US from US
Man City sucks. All right, keep going.
So like I was saying,
so does Man
January,
U. Oh,
man, why am I getting friendly fire? I didn't even.
Okay.
I know.
Let's not get too sidetracked.
Matthew just got
All right, go ahead, Matt.
sideswiped right there. Everton had a 0-0 draw with Chelsea today. That's fine. They're coming into form right now. Anyway, continue on. Sorry, continue.
I was talking to AO with San Antonio. They did say that SAFC denied to host the U.S. men's training camp. So who's to say we don't get? I want to say Dortmund. I can't pronounce it.
Darmstadt
in January.
There you go.
So that's my hot take. Who says we don't play them in January as a preseason if we get enough players?
because they're not in preseason.
I'm just saying
They kick off January 14th.
Correct. Yeah, they kick off a month before San Antonio FC starts their preseason camp, so that's not going to align. But like I said, we'll see. I don't know how.
Happen, but we got 11 players, no goalies, but 11 players.
It's fair. I mean, we'll see how it happens. We don't know how that's going to work out. Yeah, we'll see how it's announced. We just kind of got to wait for announcements with, honestly, how this season's been going and how this offseason's been going. We'll hear about it tomorrow, right after we record the show, because that's the curse of the podcast.
That's why we do it. Guess that's it, huh?
I'm about to say, yeah. Anything else? I think that's
go back to
pretty
Nicki
much
Hernandez if you got some more thoughts.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
I think you want to go back to Nicki Hernandez, Harry.
Hey, I mean, I'll give it to Harry. Let's go back because I mean,
No,
there's a
that's
lot.
all right.
There's a lot of excitement for it. I mean, you do have someone coming back for us.
No, we'll wait before we go to that. Need to see some goalkeeper.
Speaking of a goalkeeper, are we going to talk about the completely unhinged speculation we were talking about yesterday at Mad Pecker about
Our loan?
So peek behind
Royce,
the curtain.
this is Royce calling it here first.
This was madness. So we were just talking about, they brought Nicki Hernandez. What other member of that 2022 squad are they going to try to bring in? It was either Matt or Robert that brought up. Did you see Jasser Kamiri posted a video of Nicki Hernandez scoring a goal on his Instagram? And so we started looking up.
That was Rafa, man.
Oh, it was Rafa. Sorry. Whatever. Apologies,
Whatever,
Rafa. Give the credit to Rafa. So he posted that video. So we're like, do you think they're talking to Jasser to come and play, really get the band back together in 2022? And we did hear some signing rumors. Obviously, Jordan Farr was signed by DC United. They transferred him from Tampa, so he's no longer in USL. He's in MLS with DC United, but he is not going to be their starter. Rumor has it that they're in negotiation talks with five-time Champions League champion Keylor Navas, formerly of Real Madrid, which is bonkers that Jordan Farr, USL Championship Goalkeeper of the Year and champion in 2022, 3 seasons later, is going to be the backup to Keylor Navas. Wild. Anyway, so we're kind of speculate, and there's also rumors that they're talking to, I believe, and this was from Rafa. That's right, it was Rafa, because you talked about the kid from New Zealand they're going to try to sign kind of as the backup, and is Farr going to be their third string? Does he get loaned out? Does SAFC try to put in a loan bid for Jordan Farr to come back and really put the band back together? So that would be very interesting. It would be very funny to see. But it's unhinged speculation. No. Very rumors. These are only rumors.
Did we get Garcia too?
Dude, Fabian is chilling out in France. He's doing fine. He's on the beaches of France.
He's enjoying his wine.
Exactly. He's enjoying his French food, which I always talk to him. You guys suck at food. French food's the best food in the world. All right, Fabian. Cool, man. I'm glad you feel that way. So he's enjoying his best food in the world. So absolutely. Shout out Fabian Garcia. Big salute to you, brother. And Harry's on mute. You want to start getting this thing wrapped up, Harry?
Yeah, Christmas, next show, and any thoughts of next year?
Let's do a little twist. If SAFC could wrap something under the tree for you, and you open it Christmas morning. Let's try not to get too angry with stuff, but what would you like SAFC to wrap in a bow under your tree that you open up Christmas morning? Let's start with Rafa.
A number 9 that scores at least 20 goals in 2025. And a new, I'll save the other. I'll save that with Matt. There's another attached to that.
So Rafa wants Erling Haaland to SAFC. Matthew.
New pavement to tailgate area, hopefully. I mean, I don't want to keep rolling my ankles on the dang rocks.
I like it. I like it. That's fair. That's fair. Jonathan.
A multifaceted and somewhat detailed plan of how they're going to repair the relationships with the fans and the supporters and all that, because as we know, that was kind of the big narrative of 2024. Regardless of what was going on the field, there was definitely some deterioration of that relationship. And so SAFC talks about there being big plans for next season. If part of it is mending those fan relationships, that's a step in the right direction. That's a positive thing.
Very fair. And Harry.
So mine, I'm gonna go a little bit different. I was gonna go Patino, but Rafa already went there here. But to me, I'm gonna go with the new video board for Toyota Field, but also some makeup around Toyota Field, like in front of section 114. The bars on the front row are showing rust and could cut somebody if they got close. So just kind of going through and cleaning up the stadium and putting some money into it to make it back into the first class facility that it is. I'll leave the supporter stuff and all that drama to other people on this show. Future shows, we'll chime back in. But to me, for Christmas, a new video board and kind of fixing some of the cosmetics that need to be done, to show how Toyota Field is still a first class stadium.
Here's a very interesting question. So obviously the video board does need to get repaired, and I get that. And Toyota Field could use a nice new coat of paint. This is going on its 13th year, 14th season in existence. It is kind of showing its age, but it is still one of the premier lower division soccer stadiums in the States. Would you rather, and this will be very interesting, would you rather them upgrade the screen, the main screen there on the north side of the stadium, or would you rather them put that pay for that temporary screen they had over there by the bunker in the southeast side that they had right after the U.S. women played in Toyota Field? Would you rather have that screen and then kind of mediocrely fix the big screen, or just a brand new big screen?
Why not two new big screens?
Yeah, I was gonna say both.
I mean, it's run by the city. It's probably gonna be one or the other.
Well, they can ask Toyota for some extra money. I mean, I'm sure they made plenty of money. They're gonna buy us a new screen and fix the old one.
Here's something else that I would love to do, since we're talking about the screens and stuff. And it's something that I think with how it's built, I would love to see SAFC kind of put a roof on the east side, on the east side and on the north side, because I think the reason why the screen gets damaged is from the heat and the weather. It's weather. Exactly. If you put a roof kind of going across that, to me, like I said here, number one, just the sound of Toyota Field would be 10 times greater than what it is. And number two, it helps protect the facilities and would look like a proper lower league stadium over in Europe and South America, actually.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of stealing my thunder on that one, because I have said that in the past, that the big thing that if I were to win the lottery, or what would be the desire that I'd want them to remove the screen from the north side, put it on top of the ticketing office in the southeast side, and then put a horseshoe roof around the north and the east side stands. That would kind of end there at the ticket booth to protect the screen. And so then you'd have your screen, it would be protected by the roof, plus you'd have all the seats protected by the roof. The only open area would be the bar, but that's kind of the point, right? Is to have that as your open area, the walkway and the bar. So I think that would be ideal. Cost, I don't know. I don't think it would be anywhere near reaching $1 million. It's not my money, so we're just speculating. But at the same rate, I think that would be. I think it would be a few hundred. Jonathan, don't look at me like that.
To
I think
add a roof around over half the stadium, basically.
I think you're
Are
looking
you
at.
kidding me?
I don't think it would be that expensive, dude. I really don't. But
Okay.
hey, it's because the infrastructure is there. You don't have to dig. You don't have to dig the columns. You already have
But
a
there's
lot
still
of the structure
want you have
there.
to put in.
Yeah, I mean,
This is all stuff that has to be structurally sound. Like it would,
I get it.
there's almost no way that is less than $1 million.
Okay.
I mean, I have no real construction knowledge, but I have a hard time thinking it's that cheap.
Okay.
They do have the beams, right, to add the second layer, the
Correct.
second section of the beams.
Correct.
Could they
And
use off of that, or
That's what I'm saying. You already have the structure there. You need to put the roof on. That's what I'm saying. Like it's made for that. You could put it
more
up.
likely? I think more likely if we did have a second section, we probably would see a roof.
Yeah.
I think that would make perfect sense.
Oh, that's part of the concept. That's part of the original idea. Is the north side was supposed to so like section 110 all the way around to section, what's the last section, 135, all the way around. Yeah, I don't know the number, 28, 35. I should probably know that.
29, I think. Yeah.
But it's supposed to go all the way around, and that roof is supposed to cover the rest of the stadium, bar, not the bar area, but everywhere else is supposed to be a horseshoe, and there's supposed to be a second deck, and that's what's supposed to get the seat number up to 18,500, and B, that's how the whole thing's supposed to be roofed in. But you can retrograde it, and instead of putting those whole sections up, you could just put a roof up around. You already have all the structural beams. It's really just a design question and then a materials question. There's probably some demo that needs to happen. Like I said, the big screen on the north side does need to go if you're going to do that, or it's going to have to get replaced. And that's kind of what I'm saying. You got to replace that and then put the roof over. Cost, yeah. I mean, especially now with inflation, Jonathan's probably right. It probably is $1 to $5 million, but it's not exorbitant. It's not a new stadium cost. It's just, it's some repair and refresh money, and then put a damn roof over the whole thing. And that would honestly make that stadium last a lot longer than it currently is. We're, like I said, 13 years in, 14 seasons in for the stadium. It's showing some wear, and a lot of that's from the heat and from the rain and the elements. So you kind of protect it, you protect the investment, and you get it to last longer. So Harry, and I guess, what do I want to see under the Christmas tree from SAFC? Oh, man, obviously goals are nice. So I get the striker. We have most of our back line built. We don't know if it's going to be a back three or a back two. A center back partner with Tainer. It'd be nice to have an air dominant center back with Tainer's distribution. I think that would be a good partnership. But what do I want to see? And I think we all nailed it. I really want to see SSNE and SAFC kind of come together, have a moment of Jesus, and really come out and talk to, and also Carlos Llamosa to a point, have some town hall meetings, San Antonio FC town hall meetings that go through everything with the fans, and to really kind of turn this around with the, there's a lot of bad sentiment either way. I just want the whole thing to be resolved, and I want everyone to go forward amicably. And I think that would be a nice thing. Some peace in the SAFC atmosphere. I think that would be a great thing. And it could happen. It could be there. We'll see what happens. Either way, we're fans. We're going to be there. It's just some harmony would be great. Some peace in the family would be nice. So Harry, final thoughts?
So my final thoughts for this, well, I'm going to do a little housekeeping here. We probably will not have a show until after the first of the year. I'm going to put that probably. However, if SAFC comes out with a player announcement or other news, I might do a quick, 10, 15, 20-minute show. We say that usually goes a little bit longer, but we'll say 15, 20-minute show. Reach out to anybody that's on our little chat, see if they want to hop on or not. So if there is news that, because SAFC does typically do a player announcement the week of Christmas for that here. They have done, in the last few years, and typically towards the week after for that. So, but for the show, probably won't have one until probably the January 5th, 6th time frame for that here, or maybe even one more week beyond that. Number 2, SA Soccer Roundtable might have a show this Wednesday. We're still kind of 50-50 depending on work and other stuff.
No, Wednesday's Christmas.
Wednesday, Christmas. Okay.
Yeah, we're probably. Yeah, we may probably wait till the New Year too. Like I said, just
so New Year. So I know you and I had kind of talked about it, and I know Wednesday try to do it, but yeah, Christmas is there. So for that here, so we will probably not have any content outside of just if SAFC releases information, and it may just be me and Rafa, me and Royce, me and Jonathan Check, one or two of us, just briefly talking about it to highlight the player. But for me personally, from everybody, hopefully everybody has a safe time with their family. Please do not drink and drive. Get a taxi, Uber, Lyft, whatever. Call somebody. Please do that. Don't do something silly and get in trouble with that. Robert, I know it was awesome to see you last night. Hopefully you feel better after getting some medicine in you. And like I said here, hopefully it doesn't impact your Christmas too much for that here. But for me, just thank you for everybody that tunes in. I think next year we're going to try to make a push to try to see if we can get our subscribers on YouTube from 120 something to maybe 200 or 250. Might set a goal to see if we can try to get that before the season starts for that here, so we can start doing that. But for me, like I said here, happy holidays, be safe, be smart, and enjoy your family.
Rafa?
I just want to wish you guys, like I said, a happy holidays and a safe holiday. Like I said to you guys here at the show, and everyone else out there watching us, make sure to follow us on both channels, and looking forward to 2025. A lot of exciting things, not only with SAFC, but also with the high school season coming up. We already had some exciting scrimmages. I know Matt was out there helping us with the support with the Southside team, with the South SanAntonio area teams. So we have coverage there. Harry's was out there with the Warren J game. I was out there at the Mac and Jeff game. So shout out to all the teams out there. So we're doing a lot of coverage, for that, and just look forward. Like I said, we're going to be I'll be hopefully doing some live stream games. I know hopefully I get to do one with Lance. I know I talked to Lance about maybe doing one in Spanish, and then also with Steve out there. Hopefully we're going to doing that, and then also check us out. Also myself out too with Coach Cano too on 50/50 podcast. We may have an episode actually, possibly towards the end of next week.
Matt?
You're going to hear back to back. Wish everyone Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever holidays y'all would like to celebrate. Happy holidays to cover it all. Hopefully, supporter group wise, we'll get a meeting together. I know we're in the talks about it right now. What's looking more towards the mid-January to early February. So just to give y'all the heads up, so everybody we can all meet up and discuss things. As far as anything else supporter news wise, that's the best I got right now, because everything's nice and dry until we get more news from SAFC. But yeah, guys, happy holidays, and I have to go and figure out if I'm selling my Inter Miami ticket or not.
No, let's Houston Dynamo ticket. Let's be honest.
Not anymore, dude. I mean, dude, they priced up the heck out of that game, man. It's not even a Houston Dynamo ticket anymore.
Like I said, if you're gonna sell it, tell me. Tell me. I'm interested. Tell me. You have 2, right? Oh, damn it.
Yeah, that's the bad part. I only do 1.
Tough. Fair enough. Jonathan?
To those.
So one holiday we have not mentioned so far is I hope everyone has a happy Boxing Day. That's a very relevant holiday for those of us who maybe follow English teams. But on a more serious note, kind of, I want to hammer home, take some time to enjoy time with your loved ones, with family, friends, particularly because, I mean, we referenced earlier how one person in our group has pneumonia, and like that's hopefully not going to be too serious, but I have known a couple other people in the SanAntonio FC community that have recently had some troubling health issues with their loved ones. And even just thinking about a friend of my brother's who I didn't realize this, but I found out a couple weeks ago, just in his 30s, died in a car wreck in October. So you never know when crazy things might happen, when these things that maybe have been brewing for a while, or that just suddenly happen. You never know when it could be your last time seeing someone. So just enjoy time together and don't take it for granted. I know this is something that we hear from time to time. You never know when it could happen, but like, we need to actually take that to heart. Actually make the most of these moments, because you really do never know. You can never predict the future. Anything is possible, no matter how unlikely.
I do want to interrupt, and because you'd mentioned this here, in the Toon Army SanAntonio chat here, you may know this person, Jonathan, for that here, but one of the Man City fans, Frank Guevara, passed away recently, and evidently he was at the Winchester all the time with when Man City was playing here. So I know he had a huge impact on the Toon Army SanAntonio, where he was always at the watch parties there, and talked with a few of our fans to try to make a trip over to Europe to see Man City versus Newcastle. So just on that here. So thoughts and prayers to his family for that here. He is well known as far as for Man City fan. I'm not sure if he was ever an SAFC fan here. I know you may know him more than I do. So, but thoughts and prayers to his family here. I did want to make mention of that just for the fact it was on the Toon Army SanAntonio fan page.
Fair enough. Sincerest condolences to his family and his friends, and to the Toon Army and the Manchester City fan club here in San Antonio. My voice is going out.
The citizens, right? Jonathan, right? The
San Antonio citizens. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I am losing my voice. So that's enough of me talking. What's life without goals? Good night. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. We'll see you on the other side.